3 days ago, a Russian submarine captain crept up on the most defenseless ship in the US Navy. No guns, no torpedoes, no escort for 1,000 miles. He had promised his admiral a trophy. He came home with a nickname instead. His own crew uses it now, just never where he can hear. It is 2026, in the Norwegian Sea, cold water, deep water, the quietest crowded place on Earth. Somewhere in it, an American ship is doing the least threatening thing a ship can do. She is the USNS Patient, an ocean surveillance ship, crewed mostly by civilian mariners, armed with nothing, not lightly armed, nothing. Her top speed is 12 knots and she rarely uses half of it. Today, she is making 3, the speed of a man pushing a shopping cart. Behind her, she tows a cable more than a mile long, studded with hydrophones. If your driveway were that sensitive, it would hear you change your mind about leaving the house. Her entire job is to drag that ear through the ocean and listen. To a warship, she is a rounding error. To a submarine captain, she looks like a free win. 600 miles away, a submarine slips past the North Cape, K-588 Vologda, Yasen-M class. $1.6 billion of titanium, missiles, and silence. That is more than some countries spend on their entire navy. Today, its mission is to sneak up on a ship that couldn't win a fight with a fishing trawler. Commanding her is Captain First Rank Arkady Voronin, 51 years old, 22 years in submarines, never once detected on patrol. His nickname in the Northern Fleet is the Hole in the Water. He did not invent it, but he has never once corrected it. Between deployments, he teaches at the Naval Academy. His course is called The Art of Being Nowhere. Cadets copy his sea stories down like scripture. 3 admirals owe their careers to men he trained. He reminds them of this at every dinner. Last month, at a fleet dinner in Severomorsk, Voronin stood up in front of the Northern Fleet commander and made a promise. He would find the American listening ship. He would pass directly beneath her keel. He would photograph her name through his periscope, and he would leave without her ever hearing a thing. The admiral laughed and bet him a bottle of cognac, older than the submarine. The whole room applauded. Applause is a loan. Voronin has already written the lecture he'll give about this patrol. He has told his executive officer the ending 4 times. The XO laughs on time, every time. That is what makes him executive officer material. One more thing happens before the Vologda leaves the pier, a routine self-noise check. In the sonar room, a young petty officer frowns. There is a tick, faint, somewhere aft. Once every 7 seconds, but only above 8 knots, like a fingernail against a radiator. 3 compartments away, Voronin listens for 10 seconds. Instrument artifact, he says. Log it as such. The Vologda finds the patient exactly where the intelligence brief promised, mowing slow lanes across the sea like she is vacuuming it. For 2 days, Voronin shadows her from a distance, and he notices something delicious. She is slowing down. 4 knots, 3, 2, practically drifting. They're bored, he tells his XO. Nobody slows down like that unless they've stopped paying attention. He writes a new line for the lecture. The enemy's greatest weakness is routine. By dinner, his officers are passing that sentence around the wardroom like contraband chocolate. That night, he sends a burst transmission home. In position, beginning approach. Somewhere in Severomorsk, a staff officer starts chilling the glasses. Day 3, the trophy run. Voronin orders ultra quiet. Fans down, footsteps soft. The cook stops chopping. On a Russian submarine, that is the highest alert state there is. The plan is simple. Slide under her keel at depth. Rise to periscope depth off her quarter. 1 photograph, then home. To the cognac, the lecture, and the legend. 5,000 meters, 3,000. On his display, the patient wallows, deaf, dumb, oblivious. He has already decided where the framed photograph will hang, between his academy diploma and the portrait of his father. 2,000 meters. One sound rolls through the hull, a single low-frequency pulse. Not a propeller, not a wail. Deliberate, like a church bell rung once inside a closet. The sonar chief looks up with the face of a man whose universe is reorganizing. The pulse came from the ship. The office park just cleared its throat. Then comes the voice. Ships and submarines can speak through the water itself, an underwater telephone. Sound aimed like a flashlight. And here is the detail that matters. This close, the voice does not come out of a speaker. It comes through the steel. Every compartment, every bunk, all 52 men aboard the Vologda hear it with their bones. The voice is calm. It speaks good Russian with an American accent. Good morning, TikTok. Silence in the control room. The voice continues. Vologda, Yasen-M, blade 5 of your screw has a nick in it. about the size of a fingernail clipping. You picked it up in dry dock 7 years ago. It ticks once every 7 seconds, anytime you're above 8 knots. Your own sonar team found it before you sailed. Someone decided it was an instrument artifact. It wasn't. This ship recorded it in 2019. This same cable you came out here to embarrass. We have filed you under it ever since. Every NATO Navy keeps a folder on you, Captain. Ours is labeled TikTok. 22 years, never once detected. That is what your file says you believe. We let you believe it. A submarine that thinks it is invisible sails in straight lines. Voronin does not move. Somewhere in his head, the lecture quietly deletes itself. The voice is not finished. You watched us slow down and decided we had stopped paying attention. Towed arrays here best at a crawl. We weren't drifting, Captain. We were leaning in. 6 days. They have held him for 6 days, since before he cleared the North Cape. He was introduced long before he arrived. Every silent hour of his masterpiece approach happened on tape. Your depth is 90 meters, the voice says. Your course is 210, and your galley went quiet an hour ago. Very professional. You planned to pass under our keel. You are still welcome to. We'll send you the recording. A captain never gets to hear his own boat from outside. Consider it a professional courtesy. Overhead, engines. A P-8 Poseidon begins laying sonobuoys in a neat ring around the Vologda, like traffic cones around a badly parked car. Don't mind the aircraft, says the voice. It's a training day, and you're the homework. The Norwegians asked to listen too, so we patched them in. Somewhere to the north, a Norwegian frigate holds station, politely, the way a bouncer stands politely. Voronin looks around his control room. 52 men. Every one of them has just heard the enemy use a pet name for their captain's boat. You can classify a document. You cannot classify a thing the whole crew felt in their teeth. He gives the only order left. Come about. Go home. No photograph. No pass under the keel. Behind him, the Patient resumes her mowing. 3 knots. Serene. A ship to whom, officially, nothing has happened. Because on her side of the water, nothing did. The voice signs off the way you'd end a call with a plumber. Safe trip home, Captain. Do get that blade looked at. It sounds a little worse this year. We worry. The trip back takes 6 days. Nobody speaks in the control room unless spoken to. The XO does not ask about the lecture. Nobody asks about the lecture. The lecture has joined the list of things that officially never existed. And Voronin knows, every hour of it, that above 8 knots, the tick is ticking. Once every 7 seconds. He catches himself counting. 7, tick, 7, tick. The ocean, saying his name, all the way home. Severomorsk, the fleet commander's office. Voronin stands at attention and retells it, all of it. He explains that the ship he promised to embarrass has been cataloging him for 7 years. He explains that the flaw was in his own log, dismissed in 1 line, in his own hand, and he has to say the nickname out loud. In that office, the admiral is silent for a long time. Then he asks the only question that matters. Who heard it? Voronin looks at a point on the wall just above the admiral's shoulder. Everyone, Comrade Admiral. 52 men. The cognac stays in its cabinet. The bet is never mentioned again, which is worse than losing it. Somewhere down the hall, the chilled glasses go quietly back in the cupboard. In dry dock, a technician grinds Blade 5 smooth in a single afternoon. The repair costs about as much as a decent kitchen knife. A kitchen knife fix, 7 years late, on a $1.6 billion submarine. That is the exchange rate on pride. At the academy, Voronin still teaches the art of being nowhere. The cadets have a new name for him. Nobody says it to his face, but everywhere he goes, he can hear whispered tick-tock. If your greatest weakness had been sitting in someone else's folder for 7 years, would you rather they told you or kept quiet? Tell me in comments. And if you want more stories where the quietest side wins, subscribe. Do it silently if you like. We'll hear it anyway.